Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast, The Best Possible Me, where we look at relationship dilemmas, try to open different viewpoints and perspectives in hopes that if everyone does this, we all become the best possible me. Hi everyone, my name is Cindy.
And my name is Ella.
Welcome to our episode number 9. So today we are talking about a very interesting topic. So the story is my wife wanted to open our marriage, but now she regrets it.
Oh, juicy.
It's very juicy, isn't it? Okay.
Would you like to read it to us?
Yes. Okay, I will start reading. My wife, 28-year-old female, and I, 30-year-old male, have been married for 2 years. Things have slowed down considerably since we have been married. The beginning of our marriage was good, but over time she became distant. Didn't want to go on dates or have intimate time anymore. I recently confronted her about the lack of romance and her overall coldness. She told me that she just wasn't as interested in me anymore and the novelty of our marriage has worn off. I was devastated to hear this, but I asked if there was anything I could do to help make things interesting for her again. She said that perhaps opening our marriage could bring back the spark. She admitted to messaging a guy on WhatsApp, and she said that maybe if she was with him too, it might make her feel better. I reluctantly agreed to save my marriage. It's now been a few months since we decided to open our marriage, and things have been going well for me. You see, I'm a tradie, so I advertised on Hinge that I would give them a discount on handiwork in exchange for dates. This has led my business to grow and my romantic life to flourish. But my wife learned that the man on WhatsApp was just scamming her and nothing grew from it. She now wants to close our marriage again, but I don't want to give up my own advertising for my business or the attention I'm getting, so I told her no. I don't want to divorce my wife, but I am enjoying the open marriage thing and don't want to give up this new life. Why was it okay for her eyes to open it and when she thought it would work for her, but now that it hasn't, she's taking away my prerogative?
Very interesting.
Very interesting. It seems to be unfair, right? When I read it, she wanted it, like in a nutshell, she wanted it. He agreed reluctantly to make her happy to save the marriage. Then she didn't have a good time with this concept of an open marriage, but he did, and now she has to close it.
Yes.
It does seem unfair.
It does seem
to him in the end.
It does seem unfair, but again, we're hearing at the moment only his perspective.
Of course.
What I have to say that I'm really happy with the level of openness in this relationship. They actually talk about things. They actually talk about how they're feeling.
What do they want?
What they want,
Yes,
what they
yeah.
need. I like the fact that she was able to explain to him that she loves him, but she's not finding him as
Interesting.
yes, intimate,
attractive.
attractive,
Yeah.
So I do like that, and that shows of a lot of honesty and trust in that relationship.
Yes, of course. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting because wanting something in a marriage, like to open it and then regretting it, I think that it could be that she actually thought that this will work for her and change how she feels about him. But now that she feels that it's not actually helping her, maybe that's why she's so it could be from his point of view that she's regretting it just because it didn't work out for her, but it could also be that she's regretting it because she's actually realizing that this is impacting their relationship worse in other elements, not only sexual, and therefore she's regretting that decision. Could be that she's it could be that she's finding herself much more jealous than she thought she would be, or other things which might hinder on the level of trust and honesty and openness of the relationship generally.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know her side at this point. So, but that might explain possibly why she actually wants to close
She
it.
changed her idea.
Her mind.
Yeah, her changed the mind. Yeah.
But I actually think that they again need to go back and have a very honest conversation about why she's regretting it. Is it just because of the fact that it's not working out for her and it is for him, which means that she's looking at it selfishly?
That is a very selfish point. I can see that. Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
Or is it that she was hoping that this will improve their marriage and she's not seeing that it's actually improving, so why do it if it's not improving the marriage?
Okay. Yeah, so many questions, isn't it? Like we just don't know. But at the same time, I do think in a marriage, in a relationship, to have an open relationship, to have an open marriage, that is a very big step.
It is.
From what he's wrote, I didn't feel like they had enough time to prepare and talk and have a fully discussion about it. It seems very much one-sided. Seems like the wife was very honest about her experience. I think we're losing the spark. I'm speaking with this guy. I think I will be happier in our marriage if I can be with him as well. There was no detailed, more complex conversation about what would it look like for him, because she had a great idea in her mind about what would open marriage do to me. Oh, I get to see this man I'm messaging with as well. I'm not feeling guilty about it. That would not, my husband is fully aware and on board with that idea. I think that discussion was lost a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that if a couple gets to a level that they choose to open their marriage, because it is so complex and it has so many elements, not only the physical elements, but also the emotional elements and things like that. I think they need to have a very, very clear contract between them, not necessarily a legal contract.
Yes, I know what you mean by contract. Is in talking things, laying out their questions, their concerns.
What is okay, what isn't okay. Yes. Do we talk about our experiences or not? What happens if one of us falls in love with someone that we're with?
So it's more like agreement.
Yes. And
not contract, but like agreement.
But actually talk through many different scenarios that can happen and agree.
How are we going to deal with this together? Yes.
And agree in a way that is not a reluctant agreement because I don't have a choice, but actually because both sides feel 100% comfortable.
We both wanted this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that if it's a reluctant agreement rather than a thought through and I think I'll feel comfortable with this and we're putting these red lines in the sand very clearly so that if it doesn't work out for either one of us emotionally or otherwise, we stop it. What will happen is that it's the beginning of the end of a relationship.
Yeah.
And I know of, unfortunately, quite a few relationships that at some point chose to open their marriage and it was the end of their marriage. I've heard of, I don't know personally, but I have heard of couples that have been living in open marriages for years and at times reclosed it and reopened it and are fine with that.
So that has worked for them even in a very long-term sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually think that the difference comes from how comfortable both sides actually are with that initial agreement. And are they doing it reluctantly or are they doing it really
wholeheartedly? Yes.
And coming from a really experimental, open-minded way, but also the moment either one of them gets to those red lines, they automatically close it, refix what needs to be fixed, rehash it, whatever, and then decide if to reopen it or not. And they prioritize their relationship above any other relationship that they create.
Right. So it's actually a lot more work needs to be done.
100%.
For it to work smoothly for both parties.
What do you think about open relationships?
I agree with you. I've heard, obviously, like what you said, I've heard it worked a lot less than that didn't work. It's the open of the end. But like you said, there are stories that it has worked for people, has worked perfectly for years. But again, at the same time, I do know there's lots of work around it, and it needs to be both parties fully on board, and they both really wanted that idea, not because I love her, I don't want to divorce, so I agreed reluctantly. Like a kind of how the story begins. I don't think they started in a really smooth starting point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's hear her version.
Okay.
And see if all of a sudden the story sounds different.
We don't know. There's so many unknowns.
Yes.
We might.
Or if it's
Okay. Would you like to read the story?
Yes. So her version. I married my husband 2 years ago. I loved him, but was never overly attracted to him. Initially, sex was good because it was fun and a novelty. But over time, I felt it has become a chore, and I don't want to do it unless I am fully attracted and horny. Honestly, he's a kid in many ways, and I feel more like a mom than a partner. All he likes to talk about when we go out is video games and his work projects. He asks me about my life, but I don't feel he really cares or is actually interested. So yes, we have drifted away a bit. At that time, I was chatting with a guy I met over WhatsApp, and I felt much more stimulated with conversations by him. He also sent me some photos and looked not bad at all. Obviously, my husband is not clueless, and when he asked me about our relationship, I had to tell him that I feel I am not into him anymore. I mean, we have always been honest with each other, and I do love him as a human, and I don't want to be untruthful to him. I didn't talk about him being like a kid because he can't change that. And I did initially like his easy-go-lucky attitude. As I thought I was attracted to the guy I was chatting with on WhatsApp, I thought that if we open our relationship, that might make me enjoy sex again and become horny again, and horny with my husband actually. I suggested it, and my husband seemed fine with the idea. However, once I caught up with the guy, with the WhatsApp guy, I understood that he's a scammer. He looked nothing like his photos that he sent to me, and well, it did nothing to my libido. I debated if to try with someone else, but felt that maybe this isn't the real solution to our issue. So I asked my husband to stop the open marriage idea and get back to being exclusive and dealing with what might be the real issue. However, my husband seems to like the open marriage thing and does not want to go back to the way it was. I feel like he prefers to have fun than to actually deal with whatever it is that is tearing us apart.
Interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. My first initial reaction is that maybe she ran too quickly to the open marriage idea.
Yeah, the concept.
And didn't really stop and ask herself, well, she is aware of what it is that is bugging her with her husband, but actually, rather than dealing with what's tearing her apart to begin with, she was trying to find some Band-Aid solution that was very unhealthy.
Yes, I do agree. There's seeing the other guy from WhatsApp talking with him and wanting to be with him and meet up with him. It's obviously, like you said, almost look like a Band-Aid solution. Maybe if I do that, I'll be happy. Then she opened up this really big concept of open marriage, but then quickly regrets it because meeting with a WhatsApp guy didn't work out. But it doesn't even matter if meeting with a WhatsApp guy works out for her. Would it look different? Do you think would it look different? Like if the guy she talks on WhatsApp is genuine, is really handsome, is exactly what he described he is, would that make a difference?
My feeling is that it would just tear her very quickly apart from her husband.
She will drift even
and
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and probably fall in love very quickly, or realize that she doesn't want to be with her husband anymore.
Then that's not open marriage, isn't it?
No,
That's not.
no. It's so her initial thought of open marriage, I think, came from the wrong place to begin with in this specific scenario.
Yes.
Because the issue wasn't really only the libido issue, as she said, but rather it was that she felt that she had less and less topics to talk to him about, less and less things that connected them.
So it's not just sex.
No, it's not just sex.
So many other issues in her life and she said she did raise some, but then some of them she didn't feel comfortable of raising with the husband. Like, I think he's like a kid in many ways, but I never told him that because that's what he is. I don't want him to change. How can he be a better version for you if you don't tell him?
True. But then I do respect the fact that she said, I fell in love with him because he was easy-go-lucky. But easy-go-lucky goes with a bit of being a kid and not taking maybe that responsibility and the depth of not being easy-go-lucky in a way. So I think that she's torn a bit between what she liked about him
initially,
and the understanding of what that means in the day-to-day kind of person he is.
But at the same time, I'm thinking about the word growth. Being with someone, yes, initially you might be attracted to him in this story. I'm talking very generalized idea as well. You might be attracted to this person who's like a kid, easygoing, and make you feel really chill, really comfortable. Then you get married, your situation change. It doesn't mean he has to change the whole as he is. He can keep some of that childness or easy-go-lucky kind of character, but then also there's other aspects he can grow together with you to take responsibility, to make you feel like he is becoming, the husband that you wanted or you needed in situations that really helped you, really supported you. These two doesn't go against each other.
100%. And I do think that this couple, more than anything else, needs marriage counseling.
Couples counseling, yes.
In order to actually realize what are the strengths in their relationship, what are the areas that they need to accept each other for what they are, and what are areas that they can change together or develop together in order to grow the marriage and make it more than what it is at the moment. Because at the moment, obviously, they're not in a good place.
She's not happy, obviously, yeah.
Yes, and I'm also a bit concerned about him being so happy with this.
With what's being offered to him or what has worked out really well for him according to his words.
Yes, because I understand that he's enjoying it. But again, if you're enjoying it but prioritizing your marriage and your relationship, then the fact that you're enjoying it so much but your wife isn't, means that you need to wait and stop and actually go back to the drawing board and ask, okay, so what is it about our relationship that we need to work on?
Yes, yeah.
Rather than just enjoy the fun of it and not go much deeper into the issue of the problems that we have.
Yeah, I agree with you. With open marriage, one of the core values for it to work is you prioritize your relationship with each other, your marriage, than others. So right now, it might sound really judgmental for us to see this, but he does sound very much enjoying that. He says, I don't want to divorce her. I want this marriage to work, but at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want to close it.
Yeah, he wants to eat the cake and keep it as well. What do you think? Is there coming back from an open marriage, from an open relationship?
Is there a coming back? There's definitely a coming back. Like you said, if they both party agrees, we prioritize our marriage above anything else, then any point they can close, then reopen down the track. Yep. But again, there's so much work needs to be done. Definitely for this couple, if they feel comfortable, they need to see couples counseling. They need to see marriage counseling.
And I think they need to ask themselves, and generally, I think couples need to ask themselves, what's more important, lots of sex with different partners or being with your wife in this case? So if he feels that having lots of sex with a lot of different partners is more important to him, then maybe he's not willing to put in the time to do the work.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
But if he actually says, no, being with my wife is more important,
Then
yeah,
he can close.
Then
Then this can come back. Yes.
then that's where you can come back and actually work on what needs to be worked at, and then choose what next is right for both of you.
Yes. This is such a big concept, yeah. Open marriage and everything. And I do feel in real life, I do notice people would rush into this idea because it's been talked about more and more these days. If people rush into this idea or what this idea look like in their head is, it might not work out.
Yeah.
It might not be what they think it is.
Yes, and I think that generally, some people don't realize that there's a lot of work constantly in being married. There are ups and downs, and it's very normal, and everyone goes through the ups and downs. But if you don't constantly dedicate time and energy
Yes.
to try and work on it and better it, then you will drift apart.
Yes. Right. Okay. I guess that's the end of this episode. That's the end of the discussion of the story.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Ayala. We will see you guys in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
If you also have a relationship dilemma that you are struggling with and you would like us to bring it up here anonymously, you can email us on bestpossibleme.podcast@gmail.com. You can also find the email address in our podcast bio. Don't forget to like and follow our podcast so you get the notification of each new episode. See you next week.